Let's take a look at the latest offerings in the world of Frank Frazetta. We've got our 4K Blu-ray, whatever you call it, UHD release of Fire and Ice. We'll take a look at the Steelbook and the comics. We've got the John Carter of Mars action figure from Icon Collectibles and Frazetta Girls. And we'll look at the paintings associated with this. So I had Fire and Ice on DVD, and then I got it on Blu-ray, and now it is out in 4K. But I don't have a 4K player, and it has a soundtrack CD, which is new. So I'll tell you about what the difference is between this and the previous releases. Well, there's the 4K version, and I can't tell you what 4K looks like because I have a bunch of 4K UHDs in my collection, and I can't watch them. So I'm guessing it looks better than the Blu-ray. Now, as for the extra features, yes, the soundtrack CD, that's very cool, but it's got all the same extras that were on the original Blu-ray release, except the making of Fire and Ice has now been upscaled to be larger, better quality. Same with the video clip Bakshi on Frazetta, which is another video clip that has also been upscaled. There are a few new extras. There is the Art of Fire and Ice, the Frank Frazetta Legacy. That is an interview with Sarah Frazetta. And then the Frank Frazetta's Fire and Ice with Robert Rodriguez is an interview with Robert Rodriguez. Those are both brand new for this release and very awesome. Now there's also poster and still galleries. There are the posters, the lobby cards, the color stills, the Frazetta artwork portfolio, the Bakshi artwork portfolio, the sketches, animation cells, backgrounds, videos, comics, and more. I have not been able to find how to access any of these, so I'm going to have to keep checking, but that's that for this. Now, the movie itself. Have you watched it? It is quite lacking. It's not very long, and there really is no motivation for any of the characters or the plot. That is where the new comic book series comes in. This is a prequel comic series. Issue 1 came out 3 years ago this month. Issue 2 came out 4 months later, but issue 3 came out 9 months later, and issue 4 came out 13 months later. Issue 5 should be out 2.5 months from now, which will be more than a year since issue 4, and then we still have to wait for issue 6 to finish it. But I love it. The story is great. It is giving the backstory to every character, giving them all their motivations and motivation for the entire plot of the film, and it is done perfectly. Let's take a look at some of the imagery inside these comics. These are written by Bill Willingham, who I told Sarah Frazetta that he was one of the original artists in Dungeons and Dragons in the 1970s, and she didn't know that. But he's not doing the art here. He's just doing the writing. The art is done by Leonardo Manco, and Leonardo's slow, snail-like pace is getting the blame for the exceptional lateness of all of these books. But you know what? I'm not really complaining because you can collect them as you go. You can read them. You can go back and read them. You can wait for the trade paperback. It doesn't matter. The quality is perfect. And the longer they stretch this out, the longer I get to enjoy it, as long as I don't die before the final issue comes out. It does look great, though. And they've made action figures for this as well. You have Tigra, who comes with Shaitan, her panther, who really is barely in the film at all, but gets to shine in the comics, which is nice. You have Necron and his throne, really, really great. But you don't have his mom, Juliana, who is a very major character, so hopefully she's coming in the future. And you don't have the hero of the entire film, Larn. So hopefully he is coming very soon to join Tigra, but what you do have is Darkwolf. Darkwolf was the first figure released. And he's fantastic. Now, they haven't come out with a horse for him, and they did come out with like an Asian exclusive version, which I didn't get. And now they've got a brand new version 2 of Darkwolf and Tigra that have been released. I didn't get those either because I guess they just fixed like knee joints. I didn't know they needed fixing. And they came out with some more accessories. I would kind of feel like I'm missing out on some of those accessories because we don't really use them. But here's another thing. They're going to go go ahead and release them as accessory packs. So you can get the extra accessories on their own. Those will come, and I'll go ahead and get those. But you also have the Tigra one-shot comic. This is also written by Bill Willingham, and it is more backstory of the character Tigra and her panther, Shaitan. Different artist, though. This is Gabrielle, well, how do you pronounce it? Di Caro. Gabrielle Di Caro. Art and colors. It's a cool comic, though. And then you have the Necron one-shot with this amazingly awesome cover by Dan Panosian. Oh my god, I love this. And it's written by Sarah Frazetta. And the artist is Jeff Isherwood. He is the last artist on my list of artists that I need to meet at a convention. Unfortunately, I didn't realize I needed to meet him back 2 years ago when he was at MegaCon, and he lives up in Canada and barely ever comes down to conventions in the United States, so I got all my fingers and toes crossed. Why do I need to meet him? Because I have every single comic book ever released for the Marvel New Universe line. It fills an entire box, and I have the first issue of every single series signed in person by one of the creators, except Justice issue 1, and the only living person associated with that comic is the artist Jeff Isherwood. So I need to meet him, get his autograph. And while I'm at it, I'll get him to sign this, because I'm sure I'll see Sarah again someday. I've seen her a bunch of times, not enough, of course, and then I'll have her sign this as well, and it'll be a great addition to my collection. And finally, we come to the new Dark Wolf series. I made the mistake, as I have before, in pre-ordering every single variant cover of issue 1, and just like before, they don't arrive. They don't arrive, and I was waiting for them to arrive before I put the comic on my pull service at the comic store, because I didn't want to get a duplicate of issue 1. But because it didn't arrive, issue 2 came out. See, issue 2 right here. And then I was like, well, I can't wait any longer. Go ahead and put it on my pull service. I actually put it on my pull service like a week before issue 2 came out, because I'm like, well, he didn't give me issue 1. I mean, and I didn't want him to. Mine are still supposed to arrive. Let me start with issue 2. But I was too late. He had already ordered what he was getting, and so I didn't get issue 2. So I had to go on eBay and get issue 1 and issue 2. And now eventually, when all my covers for issue 1 arrive, I'll have a duplicate, which is what I was trying to avoid. But anyways, these are written by cover artist Dan Panosian. Inside, the art is by someone named Lunatic. That's a name? Oh, Andri Lunatic. And it looks great, and the story's great, and it's fun, but I read both issues, and I couldn't tell you what's going on. It's not really a backstory to Dark Wolf. It's like some kind of a side adventure. I can't really tell what time period it takes place in, and really nothing of note happens. It will be a 5-issue series, and they are coming out every month, so by November I should have the entire run, and then maybe I can tell you what happens in it, other than they're just riding horses. Speaking of horses, Death Dealer's horse prototype action figure was shown by the sculptor on his Facebook page 2 months ago. So we know the Death Dealer figure is coming with the horse. The other Frazetta entity, which is the Frazetta Museum up in the Poconos, they deal with a company called Savage Crucible, which makes action figures as well on these Frazetta properties. And you know what? They're compatible because they're the same size as the Frazetta Girls Icon Collectibles line. And so I've been getting some of those as well. And they have a Death Dealer that they already released. Well, not really. They released the pre-order for it, which was like 1 billion years ago. And I pre-ordered it. And of course, it hasn't arrived. And I don't know when it's coming, but it doesn't come with a horse. Maybe I'll get the Death Dealers from both companies eventually someday, and I can put them side by side, one on horseback and one not. Which would be great because I could, replicate the Death Dealer paintings 1 and 2, which was horseback and not horseback. And Death Dealer 2 is my favorite Frazetta painting. And this is the latest action figure, John Carter of Mars. Here we are. And it came with this stand, which the previous figures didn't come with stands. And it wasn't even in the box. It's like outside of the box. It was weird, in the bigger cardboard box. Now, last month, they showed the prototype for his female companion, Deja Thoris, which will be the next figure to be released. Pre-orders for that figure open next month. And they also showed another figure, Billy Tucci's She. And they'll open pre-orders for that in the winter. I'm disappointed by that because I'm not going to get that figure. I have no attachment to that, and I was really hoping to get a Larn and then a Juliana to finish out the Fire and Ice line. But hey, what can you say? So let's take a look at John Carter. Here's the various sides of the box. That's what comes inside, and we'll see that soon. Here it is in the pose of one of the paintings that we see right there. Isn't that cool? Now, what's also cool is the Deja Thoris figure comes with this fallen Tars Tarkas. So you should be able to recreate this painting. I love that. I can't remember what this character's name was. Remember in the movie? It was like a dog. Does his mouth open? No, it doesn't. Nothing moves on it. It is a solid piece. Okay. Look at all the stuff. For the life of me, I still don't understand how these chains work on any of the figures. So I've had this figure for a while, and it's taken a while to get to making this video, and I've been afraid because I swear it seems like everybody that gets an action figure that I get, especially these Frazetta figures or whatever, say, I took it out of the package and it was pre-broke. The knees are pre-broke. I always hear stuff like the knees, which is maybe why like the version 2 of Tigra and Darkwolf have new knees. I don't know. And these new figures shouldn't be utilizing whatever old knee. See, it does kind of look like a new type of knee joint. So I was wondering, am I going to pull mine out and it's pre-broke? But no, nothing's broke. It's all great. So I got lucky. Or did I get lucky? I mean, you should just expect things to not be broke, right? So let's try and recreate some of his looks in the Frazetta artwork with this figure. Okay, I did just notice something. Somebody did say, hey, on Facebook, on the Icon Collectibles page, they said, hey, my chain came like missing the end piece. How do I get a replacement? And mine looks to be missing an end piece because it doesn't hook into anything like it should, like the chains on the other figures do. And it's not in the packaging. It didn't fall off in the packaging. And if you look here, look, it's got a hook end piece on both ends. Just like all the other figures, just like there's one on this end. So mine is missing a piece, the hook end piece. Dang it! Yeah, and there's nothing in here. It's just missing. So here's my Taschen book. I got it signed by Sarah Frazetta and Holly Frazetta. And you can see right on the cover is John Carter and Deja Thoris. As we open it up, we can see the full painting. Let's try and recreate this look. What in the world? Okay. It's not broke. It's not broke. It just came apart. Yeah, okay. Whew. All right, how the heck does this come off? I don't think I needed to pull the head off. I just did. Okay, that's aggravating. Oh my God. I'm afraid of tearing it. Is there an easier way to do this? Okay. Holy cow. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you the paintings. Jesus Christ. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. And here's 5. Okay, he doesn't come with the cloak, but he does have that helmet. Kinda. And then we also have these black and white interior illustrations. Oh, there we are. There we are. Sorta. And Deja Thoris. Another John Carter. And look, John Carter and Deja Thoris. And one last one of John and Deja. So I'm going to go ahead and recreate 2 of these. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to pose it, take a picture, we'll take a look at it. And then I'll finish with this one because that's the pose I'm going to leave him in because when Deja Thoris comes, I'm going to kind of assemble this entire thing. And that's the way I'm going to display it. So I'll see you in a few seconds. While I was taking his stuff off, I realized, hey, I could do this pose from this other painting. All I had to do was fix the missing chain link, and I did it with a twist tie from a loaf of bread. And voila, did it. Awesome. Cool. Love it. Yeah.